Hi everyone, this is Leah. I'm an AMP Youth intern and I'm with Park Cannon today, and we're going to have an interview about the importance of voting. So I'll let her introduce herself.
Hello everyone, my name is Park Cannon. I am a millennial elected official here in Georgia who thinks voting is really important and is very excited to have this conversation today.
Awesome. So why do you think that voting is so important?
Well, right now, as millennials, folks born after 1980, we have the largest population of possible voters that we have seen ever in our country's history. The fact that we have the largest voting bloc, to me, says that not only can we vote, but we can also run for office, and we can vote for people who we want to be in office. So because of the sheer fact that we have such a large voting population, I find voting as a millennial to be very important.
Awesome. Do you know that only 19% of millennials vote in total? How do you think that we can change that?
I'm super excited about the opportunities to increase voter turnout for millennials. And what I want to say about the statistics around whether or not millennials vote in high percentages is that either way, the fact that we have this number is a good thing. We should be studying how millennials' voting patterns differ from theirs of their families or their friends in years past. And what I will add to it is, if we really want to talk about the percentage of age of 40 who are voting, that's how we should talk about it. And we should look back in history, because historically, in the 80s, in the 90s, in the early 2000s, the same group of voters were not voting as such high numbers as they're expecting for the millennials today to vote.
Awesome. Do you think that because of the controversy that's going on in our federally, like presidentially, do you think that that there's going to be more voter turnout in general, and especially with millennials?
I do. I'm really excited about the fact that there are specifically millennial caucuses popping up in different legislative chambers that are getting out the word about voting. Additionally, I'm excited that there are millennial groups within Democratic parties and Republican parties that are trying to get out the vote. And at the end of the day, what's most exciting about it is that as millennials, we see technology as a place where we can have bipartisan relationships. So now millennials are able to access the vote for the opportunity to make bipartisan policy solutions, not just to please one party or the other.
Awesome. A lot of my friends think that their vote doesn't count. How would you reply to that?
First, I would say give them my phone number. It's 404-246-3790. And the reason I'm giving that number out is because I want young people to feel connected to me. I want young people to understand that as a millennial elected official, I feel many of the same things that you do. In fact, my first election, I had just graduated college a few months before I ran. I got a number. That number was 23. I didn't know what that number was going to mean. But I found out that if 23 more people had voted, in a possible 55,000 people voted, then we would have had a successful election. But we didn't, because 23 more people didn't vote. So we had to have a whole nother election another month after, which costed the county thousands of dollars. It confused lots of voters and made the process a lot more difficult. So what I would say to anyone who does not think that your vote counts, even present today in our governor's race, it says that there's a 49.7% chance and a 49.1% chance of winning. So that 0.6% with 10 million people will boil down to a few hundred votes, just like my election for State House boiling down to 23 votes.
How do you respond to people who are kind of wary of voting as a whole because of voter fraud and those things?
I'm really thankful, to be honest, for people who are sharing their stories or their concerns about voting in the state of Georgia. Because let's face it, our Secretary of State, Brian Kemp, has made it more difficult for people of color, new voters, and young voters to vote. But because people are sharing their stories, we're able to have a voter protection hotline that helps people access the vote. So if there are concerns about voting, I would not say remove yourself from the system. I would say become even more proximate to the system. Figure out how we can protect not just your vote, but other people's votes as well.
What do you say to kids like me who aren't 18 yet but want to encourage other people to vote?
My gosh. Being under 18 and being politically engaged are not mutually exclusive. They can go together. You can, on election day, stand on your favorite corner, maybe just your street corner, and hold up a yard sign. And I bet you people will start honking, people will get excited, people will remember to vote. You can additionally join my teen caucus. I've got a teen committee that spends time with me every few months and helps me figure out what policy solutions I should be working at the state capitol. And lastly, I would say you can become a page at the state capitol. Becoming a page is super simple. You just go to your guardian or your parents and you give them a form that says, I want to be a person working at the state capitol for one day. You fill out that form, you send it to your school, and you send it to the state capitol, and they contact you. And they let you know when you get to come and be a part of us. So between the ages of 11 and 18, you can be politically active at the state capitol as a page. And because we're in my office today, I want to make sure that I give one of these to you to become a page at the state capitol.
Ooh, actually really interesting. Do you have any tips to give friends of mine and like getting them to go out to vote?
I do. I would say vote early. We should be thinking about all of the possible solutions to doing the best job that we can. I don't want voting to feel like a test that you haven't prepared for and you'll procrastinate and then you'll finally get it done and maybe you'll get some answers wrong and you'll just have to figure it out later. No, I don't want it to be like that. I want it to be something that we look forward to, that we celebrate, that we have a plan for, and that we do a good job on. And that's what early voting allows for you to do, because you can early vote 3 weeks before the even election happens. And you can go in any polling place in your county. So you don't just have to go to the one place that you're registered. You can go to up to 20 locations in Fulton County to early vote right now, today, and it also includes weekends. So this Saturday, this Sunday, you can go and vote as well.
That's awesome. And I guess my last thing would be with, or do you have any final words of wisdom before I ask my next question?
Of course. I just want to make it clear, not only do millennials vote, but we run for office. And if you have not considered running for office yet because you think you're too young, please reach out to me on social media, through my email, or through my office. Because the truth is, if millennials run for office, we will win. Statistically, we have the numbers to do it. And policy-wise, we have new great solutions. I am excited to be a millennial who is elected, but I really cannot do it alone. So please consider running for your school board. Think how different it would be if you graduated high school and you had no comprehensive sexual education and you ran for school board and you won and you got to implement the first sexual education courses in your school. You would get a better return on your policy decision making than someone who's maybe in their 50s and maybe is connected because they've had a kid that went to the school or they've donated to the school. There's just a total difference that happens when millennials get involved in politics.
Awesome. And my last question is, what would you say to someone who's like, I don't know anything about the candidates? Like, where can they find information globally or nationally?
Absolutely. So there's an awesome nonpartisan website that you can go to called openstates.org. You can type in the address of any location and it will tell you who the elected official is. So for standing elected officials, go to openstates.org so you can find out what bills they've worked on, how long they've been elected, how much money is in their campaign, what kind of things have they been doing, what media articles are they listed in. And then for folks who are not yet elected, to figure out new candidates, go and look at whichever party that they are in, their state office. So if you're in Georgia, you can look at GeorgiaHouseDemocrats.com, and that will let you know all of the Democrats running all the way across the state of Georgia. And then if you're looking for something that just kind of gives you an update on general elections, you can go to votegeorgia.com or voteatl.org.
Awesome. Thank you so much again.
You're welcome.
Bye, guys.